Hi everyone, it's Erin and it's Wednesday, January 8th, 2020. Can you believe it? Yes, and the cases just keep pouring in with political prosecution, injustice, exculpatory evidence, and this nice mom, I love these moms, called in with a great case for us to look into, and she's going to tell you all about it. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for calling us. Oh, and please let us know how you heard about us.
Let me see here. I heard about you. It says, I think it was on Facebook.
Cool.
I believe. And my name is Patti Presti, and I'm the mother of Alex O'Mannies. And we moved up here to Lake Arrowhead about 4 years ago. And my son was going grocery shopping on July 11th, 2019 at Crestline Goodwin store. And when he left the store, he was approached by three bikers that tried to jump him and was being beaten by one of them that he did not know. The other man who tried to jump him, too, named Robert Shuey, has over 22 cases against him, has 2 open assault cases against him, and has 2 felonies. This guy put my son in the hospital in January before the incident and tried to rob him. So my son was scared. He was at the grocery store, and he decided to stay there because they know where he lives, and it's really dark where he lives. There's no lights and no neighbors. So he felt safe staying there where it's lit up with film, cameras, videos, and was just waiting for them to leave. So they antagonized him, called him names, rode by him and flipped him off, and him, unfortunately, flipped them off back. And they decided to come around because they said in their testimony that you just don't flip bikers off. And they turned around and assaulted my son. The night of the incident, he stayed there. He called the police after, unfortunately, he shot one of them. I'm sorry if I repeat myself. He shot one of the boys, and he did not know him. So, unfortunately, the man died. He just got out of prison, raped an underage child. We're trying to get that case, but it's sealed. He also was in prison for robbery and assault and is known to carry guns. He just got out of prison. He's the one who passed away. The police that watched the video of the night of the incident, which was at Goodwin's grocery store, determined it was long-running video and determined it was self-defense. They let my son go, said it was self-defense after watching the video. But after a month, their 2 remaining bikers went down to the sheriff's department in San Bernardino County and lied, saying that my son was going around bragging he was a cop killer, which is a major lie. It was just to provoke the officer to arrest my son. My son, they asked him to come down to be questioned. Also, I'd like to add, at any time, if we felt that we did anything wrong, as a mother, I would have shipped my son off to Argentina, where we're from. But since we felt it was self-defense and we knew the story, we cooperated. Let me back up a little bit. Also, when he stayed and called the police, he did not leave. The other 2 tampered with evidence, grabbed stuff from the victim, so-called victim, on the ground, and tampered with evidence. We don't know if they pick up weapons or what they picked up, but you can see in the video that they are grabbing stuff from him. And the other 2 said they left right away, that they were afraid. Not true. The video proves that one of them hung around for 3 minutes, the other one hung around for 7 minutes, and he's the one, Robert Shuey, that was tampering with the evidence, moved the body, and removed 3 items from the victim. Then my son was arrested when he went down to cooperate to be questioned, because we thought the other 2 would get in trouble for what happened. Unfortunately, the cop believed the meth heads because he's a meth head. He was arrested for methamphetamine. He has assault cases, stabbings, beatings. His record is just atrocious. I still don't understand how Detective Olgas believed these guys. I called the detective and begged him to give him my side of the story, but he did not even question anybody on our side. He just went by the word of these felons. because of their lives. And then my son, when he went down to cooperate, was arrested. My son has traumatic brain injury. He has a plate in his head, and he has memory loss, PTSD. And also, the night of the incident in January, when this Robert Shuey beat him up and tried to rob him with another man named James Mattis, he also lied, and we have proof because he said he was home alone. And now, because they asked him the story again, you can see all the lies, and you see that he said there was more people there. I begged the police officer to go question these witnesses that I had. He never did his due diligence to get the witnesses' information to prove that my son was robbed. My son went to the hospital after the beating and had reconstructive surgery and is going blind in one eye. The police did nothing. We contacted a lawyer to sue Robert Shuey for the beating, and we're in the process of that, and also talking to the DA to see if we can get someone to do something. Anyways, back to the story of July 11th. He went to cooperate, and they arrested him. Now, this is the most important, crucial part. I've been in contact with Brendan Sullivan, who is attorney for Oliver North and was the attorney for Ted Stevens, Alaska Senator, and very kind man. And he helped me by referring me to Matthew Umhofer from Los Angeles, who is an ex-federal prosecutor. They're both advising me and helping me with this case because of the prosecutional misconduct or police misconduct. Because when we requested the video to prove his innocence, they gave it to us in chop shop clips. It's all chopped up, missing pieces, and in no sequence whatsoever. The first batch they gave us was, I believe, 35 videos, and it was 43 seconds missing of the most crucial part, the part of the beating. When we requested all the video, again, they gave it to us cut up in pieces, and this time with 13 seconds missing of the actual beating. I have the video, and I'd love to get it out there. Anyone with a little common sense can see that it's missing, and it's a part of the beating. What else? So then we're in case now. We're going to preliminary next week, and so I'm trying to get the news out there because not only for my son, but I've always been one for justice, and this is so unjust what's happening. It reminds me of Ryan Ferguson's story. I'm hoping to get some advice dealing with a public defender because I did hire a lawyer with what little money I had, which was $10,000, and he took me for a ride. For 2 months he did nothing and then wanted another $10,000. So I went back to the public defender. I don't understand how these people can sleep at night taking advantage of people that are in such dire, straight need. They just prey upon us. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm back with a public defender named David Spiker, and the prosecutor's name is David Starr Rabb, who's also councilman for Paris City. So I think he just wants to get extra points on his sheet, and he's trying to prosecute my son with the evidence missing that would exonerate him, the part of the beating that would again prove it was self-defense. I still don't understand to this day how the story got turned around. My email is sunshine3825@yahoo.com. My phone number is 909-485-1149. Again, my name is Patti. I'm reaching out to get the word out and to save my son from being prosecuted and being in prison for the rest of his life because of all the lies. And the main part, again, is the tampering with the evidence and the cutting up of the video that would exonerate him with the missing pieces. Also, they're saying it was premeditated. If it was premeditated, they also cut out the part where a lady was a witness and my son approached her to get her phone number. And so that's cut out because they're trying to show it's premeditated. And I think if it's premeditated, you wouldn't be flirting and trying to get somebody's number. And he stood his ground, which is the law. His gun was legal. It was in a lockbox. and everything. And like I said, he was freed that night when they viewed the video. But now, because of these lies of these bikers saying that he was going around bragging he was a cop killer, which he's not. You never hurt anybody. I don't understand how this police officer detective could take it upon himself. I don't know if he cut up the video or who did. We're trying to find that out. Also, this is a small mountain, a small community. The father of Robert Shuey is in construction, and he's friends with Goodwin's owner, the grocery store. So we're trying to find out if they cut it up. When I spoke to the manager, he told me it was a long-running video, and it's not motion censored, and it should not be in clips. So I don't understand what happened to the video. Especially in 2020, it's a new system. My husband's an electrician and says all videos are long-running. They're not cut up in clips. And both sets of videos are not in sequence. They're, how can I say, they prove that it's cut up manually. It's not done by machine because there's different seconds missing throughout the whole video. I hope I'm not missing anything. I am just reaching out for help before it's too late. And I would like to do something now and get the news out there about the injustice that's being done to our family. Thank you so much for listening. God is good. I would like to add a cute little story how I met Brendan Sullivan. I've been doing my research. I quit going to school. I've been going to school for my master's degree in education, and that's one thing I learned was research. So I was doing research on YouTube and found Brendan Sullivan on a PBS talking about prosecution misconduct. And so I looked him up and called him not knowing who he was. And he was so delightful. I told the secretary, can I speak to Brendan Sullivan? And she said, Mask is calling. I said, Patty's from California. And she gave him the phone, and he answered. At the time, I didn't know who he was, so I didn't think anything of it. But then he talked to me for over an hour, delightful man, and said, I wish I was there to help you. He gave me a lot of advice. And then he said, let me talk to someone in California because I'm in New York. So he contacted me with Matthew Umhofer, who's an ex-federal prosecutor. And Matthew has been helping me. And so anyways, the story goes when I was speaking to Brendan Sullivan, and he did not say it narcissistically or any bad way. It was just so cute the way he says after we were talking. He says, I don't think you realize who I am. And I was like, yeah, you're the man who was on the video. I didn't realize who he was. I know, it's so cute. He's adorable. What a great man. God bless him with health. And Matthew Umhofer, too, is so delightful. For free, they're helping me with all this. And they give me advice like I gave them all the evidence. I sent them all the video. And after they, watched it, they always keep in touch with me, see how I'm doing. And they both told me not to take the plea deal because if anything goes wrong, we can't appeal it. And my son is innocent, so they instructed me never to take the plea deal, to be strong and go through the trial because what they're doing is evil with bad intentions, and it will have to go wrong, hopefully. But unfortunately, I've heard so many horror stories of our justice system that I have to let you know I'm really scared. But I have faith. You can't have both at the same time, but still being human. This is very overwhelming. We are God-fearing people. We love God, and we know that He's here for us, and there's some reason for this. So I believe by getting the story out, maybe it would help other people too. I thank you all for listening. Thank you so much for your time, and hopefully I can get some help with this situation. I don't know what else to say. Can you think of anything?
Well, God bless you, and we are sure that it's a divine intervention that you called us and you gave us this information because it really, really resonates to a lot of the people that are listening today, I'm sure. I was wondering how old your son is. I was wondering if he's got a prisoner number and an address that people can write directly to him with their questions if they want to contact him if they can. I wondered if the TBI was from the incident that night. And
The PBS, you mean?
The traumatic brain injury.
Oh, no, that was when he was 16.
Okay. And I wondered if there's if he's got a trial date coming up, what that is.
Okay. I I don't know about writing him for the only reason, can't really ask him questions because that's where our system sucks. Everything's being tape recorded, so you can't even talk about the case.
I understand. A lot of people like to write postcards and send scripture into the prisons too.
I love that. That I would love. Yes. His number is 1908-300-466. He is at the Glen Helen. I don't know what they call it. Rehabilitation, I believe. It's a jail. It's in Glen Helen in San Bernardino County. I'm sorry to say I don't have the address. Would have to look it up.
No, that's good enough. We can find him using that number. And
he is 28 years old, and the other guys were in their 30s. And like I said, the other men have lengthy criminal charges. Like I said, they're known for being very aggressive and assaults and everything up here. When I spoke to the DA in January, she said, I wish the police would do their job up there and talk to the witnesses so I could put this guy away because he has a lengthy criminal record and this would be his third felony. If the policeman would have done his job actually the first time when Robert Shui got out of jail, when we first met him, we met him through my stepson. We were at a restaurant. He showed up after getting out of prison and was drunk and said he was going to beat up the security guard at the restaurant because he thought he was flirting with his girlfriend. He told me he was going to kill him and that night. And so the next day I find out the poor security guard was in the hospital from the beating. The sheriffs didn't do their job. They didn't come talk to us when I called and told them that we were there and witnessed to it, that he wanted to kill him and he was drunk. And nothing happened. If the police would have done their work, it would have been third strike, and my son never would have got robbed and beaten to a pulp and put in the hospital going blind in one eye. When that incident happened in January, again, he lied. We feel he has connections up here because his dad is, they've been here all their life, and his dad's in the big construction company up here. So I don't know how this policeman didn't go question all the other witnesses and believed his lie, saying he was home alone and that my son went to rob him. When he's a known meth user and has nothing to his name, why would my son rob him when my son has everything? And they took his rings and gold and wallet and robbed my son and beat him to a pulp. If the other two girls that didn't, thank God, showed up, saved his life, if not, I believe they would have killed him. They were in the process of going to his house to rob him. And that's when my son was able to get away and was picked up by a girlfriend. So I had all these witnesses. I told the sheriff, and he never did his job. If he would have done his job then, again, he would have been put away third felony. Robert Shui would have, and my son would have not been in this situation what happened at the grocery store. And also for 8 months, they've been taunting him, riding by his house, threatening him, yelling at him. We have plenty of witnesses. Also at the grocery store, every time he goes, his brother would be there, a girlfriend spitting at him, yelling at him. If my son would go to a pizza place, they'd show up. It got to the point that we started thinking he had a tracker on him because everywhere my son went, they showed up. Again, at the grocery store, he was there first. They showed up. They could have left the other way, but instead they rode right by my son, flipping him off. And my son's just over it. So like an idiot, because of his brain damage, if you ask me, he flipped him off. I wish he didn't. But that gives them no reason to come back and start beating him. And I'm more upset, of course, of the tampering with the video, that if we had the whole video like the sheriff's watched that night, we would be able to say, look, he's being beaten, and he defended himself. It was 3 against 1. And that's the part that I hate the most, how they think they can get away with this by cutting up the video and making the whole case to their benefit to arrest an innocent man who was just trying to defend himself. And all they have is 2 ex-felons lying about it and the video cut up. That's all they have. There's nobody else. And you have a witness that said that my son went to his car to get the gun. And that's about it. But there's nothing else. Go ahead.
What's the date of the trial that's coming up for him?
The preliminary trial is next week, the 16th. At San Bernardino County Courthouse. That's another thing, God willing. I wish I could get people to show up to show support. We'll see what happens there. And I'm going to meet with the public defender on Tuesday with my friends and all the evidence. and sit down with them for 3 hours and go from A to Z on everything, the video, everything we caught, tampering with the evidence, them initiating it because the police are saying my son initiated it by flipping them off. But in the video, you can see them yelling at him when they walk out of the store. So the public defender is enhancing the sound and enhancing the video, which would be very helpful. But again, that piece missing is the part of the beating. But they didn't cut it very good because the second part, where it's cut and then it starts the other video, you can see the carts of the grocery store going to town like there's some commotion. Mm-hmm. And then you hear bap, bap, and he shot twice. And a bullet, and they're trying to say my son shot the man standing. It's not true because the forensic shows that the bullet entered upper left side and went out the lower right side. And so that shows they were in altercation when he fired. The mistake the police are making also in the video is they don't know these men like we know them. So they think Robert Shuey, who's coming to join the fight, he's ready to throw a punch, is the one who got shot. They think that's Sammy. So they're saying my son shot at a man with his arms like down or whatever. No, you can't see the Sammy and him fighting because of the car. And the other one is he just like ran and hid. So it kind of, if you're watching, it kind of does look like he's the one who got hit. But the forensics show that the fight was right next to the car and the body and the blood is right next to the car. So he wasn't 5 feet away. That was Robert Shuey who ran and hid, the coward. He always has to jump people. He can never have a fight one-on-one. Anyways, that's another mistake the police made. The identity of the people in the video. So there's a lot of holes in this, and just a lot of holes in this. And they're trying to turn it around, saying my son planned it. Yeah, 8 months later, he knows where he lives, he knows where he goes. My son wanted to really do this. He could have done it way differently than what happened. Because, again, I repeat myself, he did not go to them. He was at the store first, and then they showed up, and they went to him. Mm-hmm. He didn't follow them. He didn't go to them. They could have drove away, end of story. Mm-hmm. But they are the ones who approached him and started yelling at him and cussing at him and went to assault him. And that's when he grabbed his gun and defended himself.
Yeah, it's almost like...
My son was in the defensive mode, not offensive mode. Like I repeat myself, we got a lawyer and everything. We were with the DA, working with the DA on the case. So we were not that kind of people that would do something like this. We were in the defensive mode because they were constantly taunting us and following my son.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like everybody needs to have their own GoPro on them at all times to film everything these days. But
yeah. And he went to the hospital that night, with the head injuries of the beating. So I don't understand how they still can't see it's self-defense, how they're still trying to turn it around just because the other two bikers lied, saying my son was going around bragging he was a cop killer. And so that's a joke to me because there's no evidence of that. He's never hurt anybody. So that's why I'm like, how can this detective believe these stories? And the way these guys lied, it's all proof. Because also, they didn't do the toxology. The guy was drunk that night. The nurse who went to help him said, oh my God, this guy reeks of alcohol. He was on a stolen motorcycle and he was intoxicated. And the other two left, like I said, and the police never went to question him that night. They asked him to come in like 21 days or 22 days later. And they had 22 days to collaborate their story to the point of these two guys even said, I can't see. I couldn't see who it was. I need LASIK surgery. And the other guy's like, yeah, he's having surgery on the 26th. So how do people not see how they collaborated their story after 21 days? Mm-hmm. And also, the stories are to also prove that they collaborated their stories. And then in their story, they also say that my son planned to do this. And again, I repeat myself, my son did not plan to do this, because if he did plan it, I'm hoping, people understand he's brain damaged. He's not no mastermind. He was in a defense mode. We were just tired. I'm the one who looked up the law on how he could carry the gun legally, and we were in the process of getting a concealed weapon permit. Mm-hmm. So yes, it's just maddening, this whole story. When I tell it over and over, I still cannot believe it's happening. But I know God is wonderful, and I know God is good. and he's using me to get the story out, I believe, because he knows me, and he
Mm-hmm.
knows this would help other people, because this is horrible what's happening to our country. I always believed in America and justice, but everything I'm learning now is just a disgrace to our name.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd like to get the story out and get some help and get it on TV. Again, I have the video. I have everything to show anyone who would like to see it.
Okay. Well, what we should probably do is wait until Rudy can do some editing and listen to this, and maybe he can run the video underneath this audio.
Perfect. And I will try to get a flash drive and upload everything and mail it to you.
Okay, great.
Again, thank you everyone for listening, and please help me. I'm a single mom, and got remarried, and my son met this loser through my stepson's friends up here. Like I said, it's like almost a conspiracy. It's only 2,000 people live up here, and I'm just seeing a lot of things that are just not right, regarding the video. So that's why I'm trying to find someone to help me in any way they can. Also would like to state, we're blessed to have a San Bernardino Integrity and Ethics Unit that I reported this to, and I also reported it to the Bar Association regarding the prosecutor's misconduct. So I just would like more advice who else I could maybe, tell this to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm doing the best I can. Matthew Umhofer, which I love, yesterday told me he's really proud of me, and let me tell you, I needed that pep talk.
Yeah.
Sorry if I start crying.
No, we talked to
This is the worst thing ever.
I know.
Worst thing ever. He's a great kid. He does not deserve this.
No, he doesn't.
And it's just too much. It's too much for me because I'm not a lawyer.
No.
And then I was taken for $10,000.
Yeah.
It's like, make this stop already. But I have faith. I know God is wonderful. He's always done miracles in my life. And I know this will just be another miracle and give my son more faith and teach him how God works. And so I do believe in God, and you will see that something beautiful is going to come out of all this. I do believe that. It always does.
Amen. We're praying with you and for you, and we appreciate you calling and letting us know about what's going on over there.
Thank you so much.